Good morning, everyone. Let me address my first word to my dear friend, Ambassador Catalina Bodway, a wise woman, a wise diplomat, and now president of United Nations Association of Hungary. Thank you, Kathleen, for organizing this event, for gathering all of us today for two reasons. I think first one is to commemorate 80 years of assistance of United Nations. And secondly, I think to project ourselves what is going to be the next step, the next chapter of international governance in the world. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for, of course, the Royal Hungary Academy of Science, the Vice President. Thank you to my old colleague, Foreign Minister of Hungary. We'll be together during 2010. I see a lot of friends, a lot of ambassadors, and people have been meeting each other during the last years. So when we talk about 80 years of UN assistance, we have to ask ourselves, how was this 80 decades? Just recently, on the 22nd of September, in New York, we commemorate this 80th anniversary of UN. I have to tell you that it was, I don't know, some of you were there, I was there, it was a sober, short, and pragmatic ceremony. The only, I think, remarkable thing is that, apart, of course, the speech of my Secretary General, Guterres, that was quite good, the most important element was that out of 6 personalities that took the floor, 5 were women. It was a strong message, and you are working with a woman for diplomacy. You are Kathleen, you are the founder of that. So you have to be encouraged because the trends of the UN is going to recognize and to give you the place you deserve. But if we ask ourselves, where is the UN today? I think we should ask to constituency. First, of course, member state, government, you know, that they are the one who really have to follow and develop the UN. But also we have to address the public opinion, international public opinion, what they think about UN today. And you can immediately find that it's a kind of paradox. In general, I would say out of 193 countries that today is the UN, they will say, yes, of course, we need the UN. We are defending multilateralism. But immediately then you see that there is not so much enthusiasm, that there are some criticism, that the people ask themselves, what is the efficiency of UN? Where is UN? And you ask the same question to the world public opinion, they'll say, yes, we need the UN, but what is UN? There are wars in Ukraine, war in the Middle East, in Africa. We are not able to be involved directly, so what is UN? Is doing their job or are becoming a big NGO, humanitarian NGO, without having the essential element and objective that was created in 1945. So there is this paradox, a search, a wish, a desire to have a strong UN and a lack of efficiency, of certain legitimacy of the UN body. So we are in this contradiction with, of course, shadows and sunny days and gloomy days. But if you look objectively on the mirror of history, you say, what has been these 80 years is amazing. how many lives, thanks to UN, has been saved, how many improvement in fighting against hunger and poverty, how many teachers, schools have been opened, how many refugees have been addressed, how many wars have been solved in 80 years. But of course today, our societies are asking themselves why we don't do more. What is missing in order that we can produce the UN we are all, in general, defending? And that's what really we have to think ourselves. What was the UN? How the UN of San Francisco came up? It came, my dear friends, from a long period of human evolution to try to solve problems peacefully and, through dialogue. Well, we cannot make a history today. I have not too much time. But of course, from Westphalia, then we went to Berlin Congress, then we got to Versailles, then we got to Geneva, then to Baton Rouge, and then San Francisco, then the UN. You have seen, or you have heard, Westphalia, Berlin, Versailles, Geneva, New York, all European Western capitals. So in 1945, after the Second World War, the horror of the Holocaust, atrocity of humanity about the Jewish Holocaust, we decided never again. And they decided to have this UN attempt to put an end to the disaster, the horror of war and conflict and crisis. And it was done, it was written, it was decided in general, by the Western, mind. Well, it was the time of bipolarity at that time, so the bipolarity, they have bilateral relations, but they have to use a multilateral framework. The UN is a multilateral framework. But till now, it was led in general in one period of time by two powers, the Soviet Union and the United States, then unipolar world, the Americans, and what we are confronting today. Somebody can deny that we are living in a multipolar world? It's very difficult. So till 2000, 19 after the fall of the Soviet Union, and they said at the end there's the unipolar, the American administration, Pax Americana, and then today we have a multipolar world. So what is the challenge today? Is to put the multipolar world in the multilateral framework. We have to not use a multilateral framework at the, let's say, direction from the Western world only. No, we have to really introduce other poles, other countries, other actors, in order that all together will be able to live in peace and security. So that is the challenge. It doesn't mean that the West and Europeans have lost and have to be sidelined. No, I'm a Westerner. I'm a pro-European. I'm very proud of my values and principles. I defend them everywhere. But I recognize that the world has changed, that I cannot impose my values and principles to everybody. I have to respect the other. I have to understand the other, and we have to make together a new world. So my role will be as important as it was in San Francisco, that I have to share this world with others. And that's what the Alliance of Civilization is trying to do. We have a platform. Yes, my friend, we are not one civilization. No, there are many civilizations. Thank God. And they say, thank God, because I'm a believer myself. Yes, because civilization means culture, identity, belief, sense of awareness of yourself. I will come back later on when I say what are the challenges of UN today. So in that reason, I'm very proud, and I said, I will tell the foreign minister this afternoon when I will see him of Hungary, you are a country, a European West, that you are defending your identity, your principle. Yes. And I'm very proud that in our meetings of the alliance, Hungary is always present, saying, yes, we need to defend Christianity. Of course, yes. As I'm defending to fight Islamophobia or fighting anti-Semitism, yes, of course. You have not to escape, not have to be forgotten. You have to defend yourself, but with respect and acceptance of the other. That's the only thing that I have to say. So, where we are today, what are the challenges of the UN today? Because we are all, we know, in a transition phase. We are going to head for the election of the new Secretary General next year. And everybody hope and desire, and I join my effort of Women for Diplomacy, that will be a lady, a woman leading the UN. It's not sure, because Security Council, some actors, we don't know. I hope it will be very difficult to say no to the strong pressure. So this new Secretary General have, I think, in her mind, because I'm convinced and I'm supporting that should be a woman, what are the priorities of the UN today? And of course, we can go to many dimensions, many elements, but in order to be clear, I will see three main priorities you will have. Of course, the first one, the main one, is peace. And then if you want, you can put security. But I want to put security in order to achieve peace. You know my thesis. You will never get security without peace. But you can get security through peace. So the main target, the main objective of the UN is peace. And for that, you have to really engage and create the mechanism in order that the UN is relevant. Today, the problem and the main criticism of the UN is, where is UN? And then it's not the fault of Secretary General. We understand how he was in Ukraine, that was in the Middle East, and how, you know, the actors are trying to go back to this balance of power of Westphalia. We are not more in Westphalia, my dear. We are in the 21st century, and we have to create a new momentum, how the UN could be essential. So reform of Security Council, yes, reform of Security Council, it will happen, very difficult, we know. It could happen, it will happen. It should happen. If we want to have an instrument, an organization that is efficient. How is it going to happen? Well, nothing happened like that. The people who are members of Security Council permanently will say, no, not touch. But we have a strong voice on the General Assembly. We need to democratize even more the UN. UN in 1945 was democratic because you give to one country one vote for the General Assembly. But then you counterbalance that with the P5. So we need to reinforce the General Assembly in order that the General Assembly will be democratized, that the people will be represented, feeling that they are part of the organization. And then you need, in the new mandate, a new compact, to give to the Secretary General a clear mandate of good offices. Enough is enough that if there is war in a country, the chief of state, the head of state, the government, president of government, don't allow the Secretary General to go and to engage. Who are you? If you don't allow me out of the UN, the Secretary General have to have a full mandate to intervene in all the crisis and conflict. What is that? No, because you criticize me, so as you criticize me, you are biased, so you are not balanced, so you cannot engage. No, that has to be changed. And that's one of the elements that the new Secretary General have to do. Of course, the second is all the package of 2030 agenda. Well, it's not so bad. You know, in Sevilla, in June, there was a big success. Well, the one country decided not to go, not to get for a compromise, the Compromiso de Sevilla, but 160 countries attend the conference. Around 60 head of state and prime minister attend the conference, and there was a consensus. So that means that the majority of international community is in favor of engaging how to find financing the development agenda. So we are going to renounce to the fight against climate change or the sustainable development goals? No. We have to reach 2030, engage ourselves. And the third priority, because I don't want to be too long, is the human priority. Human priority, I mean the challenge of this fantastic discovery of human being, that is into artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has been created by whom? By human intelligence. It has not been created by a robot. No, artificial intelligence has been created by human intelligence. So we are going to stay without any saying as human being in front of what is seen is going to rule our life, our world? No. What is this algorithm society? Are algorithms democratic? Are algorithms transparent? Who created this algorithm? They put our culture, our civilization. I mean, civilization means that you have a belief, you have a history, you have a culture. Look to this beautiful building. Yeah, the algorithm will show some element that, but will explain what is behind it, the 200 years of history of the Academy of Science of Hungary. No. So we have to be extremely careful about how we are going to deal with this overwhelming, over-present artificial intelligence. And for that, the Alliance of Civilization is ready to work with all kind of different ways to put our print in the all logarithm. We have to respect the culture. Culture is fundamental for ourselves. I mean, the culture without culture means your own feeling. Who are you? You are coming from what? Where do you want to go? You know, the Europeans, the Western, we need to say God is dead. Okay. And then we became all secular. Okay. But religion is coming back. I go around the world, and people are confused. People are threatened. People don't know what to hear and say, well, ethics, religion, faith have a place in today's world. So the new Secretary General have to take these new priorities. Secretary General Guterres have done a fantastic job during the last years, step by step. He launched a common agenda. You have a lot of very positive and very interesting work. Then we have the Pact of the Future. And then we have now UN 80. it's not a question to cut salaries or to cut financing. The UN deserves much, much money. But you deserve much, much money, you know where to go. And as the philosopher from Cordoba, Roman Andalusian philosopher Seneca used to say, when they asked him, there is a good or bad winds for a good sailor. He said, no, a good sailor will use good or bad wind if he knows where to direct the boat, if you know where is you're going to build your harbor. So your harbor, my dear friend, is to have a UN, legitimate, efficient, with clear priorities in order to create another 80 years of success and, peace and security for all humankind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.